We're at Independence Mine today, and um, up here you can pick blueberries, wild blueberries, and apparently Martha just found a couple sandwich bags in the friggin' trash can so that she can collect blueberries because we've never done it. Hey guys, welcome back to Alaska Guama, and I want to start by apologizing that we have not had really many videos this year, and the reason is because we've had some, I wouldn't say I've had health problems, but I've had medical problems. I had a surgery on my knee, and it's had me down, and prior to my surgery, I was having a really rough time getting around and kneeling, and it just was very painful, and even the healing process afterwards has been very painful. So we haven't had any videos up. We're at Hatcher Pass up in just north of Wasilla, Alaska, and we are at Independence Mine. So we're going to take you through the mine and get a look at it. Here you can kind of see it's an old abandoned ghost, not really ghost mine because it's a state park, but you can see all the abandoned buildings, and we're going to go through this entire place and we're going to bring you with us. So sit back, enjoy. Hope you have a good time. I hope we have a good time. We're about to go into the what's known as the big house. The big house is the house that was built for the plant or the site manager, the mine manager, Walter Stoll. And apparently he's accredited for much of the mine success because he was the mine manager for the vast majority of time that the mine was in operation. And I'm talking outside because I don't want to go inside and disturb a bunch of people. So here you can see the house. You know, this is one of the houses that's just falling apart. And by the lean on this, it's not going to be up very much longer. So it's a lot of history here, which is really cool. You know, these houses clearly aren't 1800s per se, but it is really cool. One of the things that was different about the big house, which was the manager's house, versus these other shelters here, is a couple different things. One, the wood siding was painted either white or silver with the red accent trim, but they had tin corrugated roofs and not the metal standing seam roof that the manager had. And so as we look around the rest of the mine, you're going to see that that's kind of the theme of everything. It had the corrugated aluminum roofs, or tin roofs, as you will, as it were. Over on this side of the mine, you see the waterfall. We'll walk up there here in a second, but all of this infrastructure has fallen. You can see that this motor is actually a really large engine. I don't know how well it reads on the screen, but this is an Atlas Imperial diesel engine company. So this is a large diesel engine, and I'm assuming this is for electric generation, but oh, does it say electric over here? Oh, look at here. So somewhere, oh, so this clearly was the electric generator for the town. You know, you couldn't ask for a prettier view if you're up here living in the mine. However, I will tell you that this is some really harsh conditions. This area gets a lot of snow. And these days, the road is closed off in the wintertime, and so you can't even get up here. And imagine having to try and deal with that back in this day. I would imagine as soon as the snow flies, which oftentimes is October here, I would imagine that, you know, that snow flies and it's there until May. And so there's no getting in or out. You just kind of live here, and you got to get your supplies up here. I mean, I could be wrong because I haven't read to the contrary, but that's just what I would kind of imagine. All this area completely destroyed. And there's no signs that tell us why it was destroyed. I don't know if it's age or if there was an earthquake that caused the majority of them to fall. But here we are. Here we're about to enter the assay office, or assay office. This is apparently where they would test the gold, and a process that they've called retorting it, which I'm not sure exactly what that is. But here we go. So this is the retort room. Here's our floor plan of the assay office. About once a week, the mine superintendent, the office manager, brought the amalgam to the assay office for retorting. This heating process separated the mercury from the gold by distillation. The amalgam cakes, which were 50% gold, 50% mercury, were crushed and packed tightly in a cast iron retort pot. Small holes were punched in the amalgam to form gas vents and to allow the amalgam to heat more evenly and rapidly. So it makes me wonder, when they got rid of that mercury, did they send that to the Mad Hatters or the Hatters to use to form their hats? And then, you know, that's what made them go crazy. That's why they were called Mad Hatters. So here's an example of them apparently digging in the mine. So they were using compressed air lines back then, according to this, and those compressed air lines would then power those pistons that would bust up the rock and pull out the gold. Here we've got a bunch of their tools used for drilling and blasting. Let's continue on. Clearly, this is where they kept the safe, and this is where they kept the bags of money, or gold, I should say. Here we've got rock samples in the granite that they're pulling from, and their quartz, etc. And, you know, another museum with the types of tools that they used. These kinds of places always fascinate me, these old mining towns. And I always wish that, I mean, I know it was a hard life, but sometimes I wish that I could just go back and at least be a fly on the wall in these places, see what life was really like. You know, I like history, I like historical things, and, you know, I'm always fascinated by people, honestly. Oops. This is the view that people had, you know, coming up here. I mean, imagine living in this. I mean, I guess I do, you know, but I'm not up here in this area. We're just down the hill, but we still are seeing these mountains every single day. And it is a blessing, that's for sure. Imagine living in a place full of the woods, full of life, full of adventure, and still being paid a salary large enough that you can live. You know, a lot of places, small towns in California, Oregon, whatever, in order to live in the majesty, you have to work in a small town, and it's really hard to make a living in those kinds of places. But here in Alaska, a living can be made, and it can be a decent living. I've always done better here, and I love this state. So it doesn't look near as steep on the camera as it is in person, but we just walked up that huge hill and it has winded me. Whew. Ooh, I'm gonna step in that water. Here we got a mine train with various engines. It looks like it might even have an electric engine here. Look at this. Using electric power and batteries back in the 40s. Pretty cool. And more importantly, now we're actually on the mine train tracks, going by the old train station, I guess. This was clearly the end of the line, and hopefully this will take us into the mine. That'll be very cool. You know, it's funny because this part right here reminds me of Disneyland, but then we've got this to look out over. Again, imagine this is your job. This is where you live. Harsh working conditions, but gosh, what a payoff in the view. David's riding probably 100-year-old skateboard right there. So now we're up at the top of that waterfall, and what's really, really cool is that we are now still on those tracks, but we get to go into the mine. We get to go into the mountain. You know, hopefully it goes all the way. I don't, and not just stop at the mountain, but let's find out. yet another waterfall, same little creek or whatever, but you'll see there's a lot of water up here, and this is called the water tunnel we're about to enter, and let's find out why. Oops. We are only allowed to come here, but we'll take a look at what this has to say. So what's cool about here, I don't know if you can see it very well, but this shaft is obviously completely full of water, and it's probably why they call it the water tunnel. Now, I don't know what goes on back there, but we've got water flowing across these rails and all in here. It's very cool. This part here kind of reminds me of Indiana Jones. You know, you had these rails that continued on the side of the mountain here, but all the infrastructure has since fallen, and definitely don't want to have a car on that thing anymore. Look down here. Well, everything up here is just water, eh? I mean, it's so wet. When we went berry picking, our shoes got soaked. And the thing is, we allegedly wore waterproof shoes, but you know, they still got wet because of how much water it is, I guess. Either that or you can't trust 4-year-old shoes that say they're waterproof, eh? So, walking across a creek, as you can see here, just stepping across this, you know, look at all this beautiful, beautiful water. I mean, I got the family over there leaving me in my tracks, as it were. So here we are, just enjoying the weather. I mean, it's a little bit chilly out here. It's not too bad. Mostly it's just misty. It's the misty mountain hop, as Led Zeppelin might say. And the misty makes it cold. Picking the blueberries really numbed our hands up. But, you know, now that we haven't been picking for a while, it's not so bad. Something I wanted to show you that's not really super visible. But I don't know if you can see it very well. But as I turn here, you see this cable right in front of me, but also there's one just beyond, and it goes down. It's being held down by this rock, and it goes down the mountains. And I'm assuming, but I'm not positive, I'm assuming those are electrical lines that were bringing power up the mountain, perhaps? I don't know. But here's another one that's just all coiled up on the road. So who knows what those are, but it's really cool to see. You can see David got all the way up on those rocks there, climbed all the way up. And again, it's really hard to tell just how far away that is. I'm up on top of this rock, and you know, he's up there, man. He is up there. There goes Maritza walking down the mountain. You know, I don't know about you guys, but for me, the peacefulness and the tranquility that I get from just being in nature is overwhelming. You know, I love being out here. I love being in nature, in the woods, in the mountains, in the, you know, whatever this is, right? This doesn't really matter to me, whether it's a stream, whether it's a river, whether it's, you know, the the boggy valley of a mountain range, the middle of the woods up in the mountains, on the ocean. It doesn't really matter where I am. What matters is just that being out there, being one with nature, you know. And I don't know if, you know, the truth is, am I one with nature? I mean, that's a little bit cliche, isn't it? But I at least come out here and I'm able to connect with nature. I'm able to connect with the spirituality of the world. The earth has the same percentage of minerals, waters, all the nutrients that are found in nature are found in the same percentages as we need or as we have in our body. And that right there is enough that, for me anyway, others may feel different, but for me, just being out here just centers me, right? It makes me calm. It makes me, I don't know, I just love it. Here we are walking down a mountain in boggy, like, I don't even know what kind of soil this is. I mean, I don't even know if this is permafrost, if this is considered tundra right here. You know, small vegetation is what we're in. And look at this. I mean, look at just how amazing all of this is, and you take it in just piece by piece. It's really hard to capture on camera just how large, how majestic, how massive everything here is. It just surrounds you, and it embraces you. At least it, you know, that's the way I feel. And it may sound cheesy, I know, but for me, there's something magical about it. So we climbed up this mountain even further, which I don't know if you can tell. You'll be able to tell when I turn around, but because we saw this big brown building on this coming up on the right, now in the center of the screen. We go, what's over there? So we climb up here. Let me turn around, and you know, I'm zoomed in ×3 right now. I'm going to zoom back out. This is how far up the mountain we are now. That set of red buildings out there, that's a mile from the camp. I'm sorry, the silver buildings here at Independence Mine. And you can see we're way up above the parking lot and way up above those houses. And it's quite a hike, as you might be able to tell from my breathing. Not that I'm exactly the most in shape, right? I mean, I'm in great shape if shape is around. But as far as being, you know, healthy shape, not so much. But turns out, as we get up here to where all these houses and such are, turns out that looks like that's all private residence, and there's no trespassing signs. So now we have to find our way back down, and it looks like David may have found something over there, because he's heading down. So is there a trail there, Dave? Is there a trail? So apparently it's just a mountain down. Anyway, we're gonna try and make our way down. Can you guys see how steep this is? I don't think you can. It does not look it. But I'll tell you what, when I get down here, I'll look sideways horizontally so you can see, you know, you can kind of see over on those mountains there. That's pretty much what it's like over here. This whole embankment is that steep or steeper. There's some area over here where the it's kind of like an embankment, and I'm having trouble holding the camera. Oops. Woo. Guess what? I just fell. Caught myself though. Anyway, we'll see on the downside. All right, guys. As you can see from the color on my face, how was a workout? And I don't know if you can see behind me, but you can kind of. I'll turn around here. Let me show you how steep this is. So you can see, basically, like I said, the steepness of that mountain right there is the entirety of the steepness of this. And to think that we were way, you see, you don't see it so much here, but we were way up there on the top where you can kind of see. Let me see if I can zoom into 10 and go up. You can see that sign right there by the rock. It's really hard to see, but there's a rock up there and a sign to the left of it. You know, there's a bush, a rock, and to the left is a sign. We were up at that sign, and boy, it's quite a walk. And now we are concluding our trip to Hatcher Pass. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope I got enough content. I know I got a lot of content, and a lot of times I get more content than you guys are able to see, but as far as the narration makes it very difficult. You know, I get a lot of great scenery, but then I end up having to put a bunch of music on it. And so thanks for coming along. Thanks for watching, and you guys do well, and hopefully we'll be able to get some more videos out, because I actually have something that's going on that I want to tell you guys about, and it's a journey I'm about to take, and I would like to take you along for a couple of reasons. One, I want some accountability, and two, it might be interesting. So we'll talk about that next time. Thanks. Have a good day.